Council of Europe defends Human Rights Court against criticism over expulsion. So this is the ECHR preventing people from being deported even if they are criminals. The Council of Europe on Saturday defended the independence of the European Court of Human Rights after 9 member states said its interpretation of rights obligations prevented them from expelling migrants who commit crimes. Now, I think if someone comes to your country and they commit a crime, you can say, well, you're no good for the nation, bye-bye, off you go, and that should be it. However, you're not allowed to do that. Even if someone is like a raging nonce, but he'd be treated so badly back home. You have to let him stay so he can nonce up your country instead. The leaders of Denmark, Italy, Austria, Belgium, Czechia, Estonia, Latvia, Lithuania, and Poland, in a joint letter made public Thursday, called for a new and open minded conversation about how the court interprets the European Convention on Human Rights. Their concern centres on rulings in the field of migration, Council of Europe Secretary General Alan Berset said in a statement. These are complex challenges, I mean, they don't need to be, and democracies must always remain open to reflection through the appropriate institutional avenues. However, Berset stressed that the European Court of Human Rights is not an external body, but the legal arm of the Council of Europe, and is bound by a convention that all 46 members have freely signed and ratified. Now, this is why so many countries, including us, want to pull out of it, because it is preventing us from removing dangerous people from our country, who are not here for the benefit of our country, they're here to exploit it and to commit crime. But we can't send them back home because, they'll be treated so badly. So I think the option is to treat them very badly here. But anyway, it exists to protect the rights and values they committed to defend, he said. Upholding the independence and impartiality of the court is our bedrock. And for anyone that's curious, yes, the ECHR are the people that I sent my submission to because I had my rights violated by my country over a joke that I made. And they told me to pound sand over a technicality. They rejected my case over a technicality. However, if I was a raging nonce or something like that, then they would have totally came to defend me and defended my rights and says, no, you can't do that to him. He must be protected. In fact, you should buy him and make him buy him a house and let him live right next to a playground. And I'm like, yeah, they seem to be fine, but basically the European Convention of Human Rights seems more interested in defending the rights of people who are not even from Europe over the indigenous people that live there. It's not fit for purpose. He warned against politicising the court. As someone who has dealt with the court, it's already been politicised. The 9 European leaders said that the court's interpretation of the convention in cases concerning the expulsion of criminal foreign nationals has protected the wrong people and placed too many limits on deciding who can be expelled. The Council of Europe is not an EU institution and was set up in the wake of the Second World War to promote peace and democracy. Except there was a woman, I believe an Austrian woman, who was arrested and charged in Austria for criticising Islam. She brought her case before the ECHR and they told her to also pound sand and they wouldn't uphold her case. They rejected her appeal. So when it comes to the rights of actual native Europeans, the ECHR, the European Court of Human Rights, doesn't give the tiniest shit. However, if you're not even from Europe and you're a literal war criminal, a gangster, a human trafficker, a nonce, or any of those things, they'll be there. They'll bend over backwards to help you, to help your right to remain in the European Union. It's just basically the ECHR has become nothing but an absolute joke that is actually causing harm to like women and children who now can no longer walk the streets at night because there are people in Europe and in our countries that should not be here and they are a danger to society, and we would like to remove them to create a safe and nice society. The type of thing that attracted these migrants here in the first place. Except the ECHR says no. So basically, when we all become this absolute backwater, crime-riddled third world country, the ECHR will be partly to blame for that.